Welcome to Real Estate Investing Abundance, the show for busy, fulfilled professionals like you to learn how to develop financial independence built on solid, passive real estate investments. Now, here is your host, Dr. Alan Lomax.
Enlightened investors, we are going to get off our island comfort zone and learn how to partner so we can scale our real estate portfolio. Shelon Hutchinson, known as Hutch the Marine Investor, is a Master Gunnery Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. Over the past 22 months, Hutch has co-sponsored over $11 million in multifamily property acquisitions, which includes a 55-unit portfolio in South Carolina and a 167-unit complex in Georgia. Today, with his partner, he co-founded H Square Capital, a real estate investment firm that focuses on apartment complexes acquisitions in the Southeast. Hutch, before we go into partnership building for real estate success, share a memorable experience from your formative years that helped you to be the person you are today.
That's right. Now, so there's a couple, but one I want to highlight is a lot of times we do not know exactly what brought us to our current location, right? Because in life, there's certain things we can control and some things we can't control. For me, one thing I couldn't control is my school path, right? And I can tell you that I'm standing here today because I only spent half a year in first grade. Not because I'm extra smart, it's just the way things work out. I went to first grade in January, and then I actually got to transition to second grade in September, unlike others who went to the first grade in September and then leave the other September. So I am in this present moment in America. I was able to graduate the time that I graduate, to get to boot camp, the time that I got to boot camp in the Marine Corps, to be able to get stationed in Hawaii, to be able to meet my wife, to have the beautiful children that I have because I was able to graduate half a year early from first grade.
Yeah, that's so true. There are many things in life we cannot control, and we never have a whole lot of idea where it is that we're going to end up, no matter how much planning we may do.
That's right.
Well, how did you get started with real estate investing?
Just like religion, career path, certain beliefs, certain paradigms that we have, right? We get a lot of that from our parents. And for me, I was fortunate to came to America in 1998 with this abundance mindset of possibility. Anything is possible, right? So fortunately for me, my dad was in real estate. He was listening to those cartoon sheets, cassettes. And, you know, he was talking to me about the possibility of owning real estate. And I call it owning some of America. Now we're focused on owning more of America with our investors. You know, so he taught me the information he was learning is cartoon sheet tape. He was also a real estate agent, right? Which, as we know, not all real estate agents are investors, right? It's a whole different mindset with being a real estate agent and being a real estate investor. You know, so he enlightened me to both possibility, and that got my curiosity, and it develops over the years.
Well, interesting. Well, where and how did you meet your business partner? Because that was a big part of actually how you actually got started in at least multifamily investing.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, the greatness we want to achieve in life, a lot of time we can do it by ourselves. We really can. But one of the things that I've learned in the Marine Corps, and even if I should go back to my childhood days in Jamaica, I was a cadet, and we march in formation. We had small fire team that we do different tasks with in the fields, whether we doing a camping or we're doing a drill or we're doing a squad competition, right? So early in my life, I learned the importance of having small team that can be combined to make bigger teams and make great things happen. Now, got into my young adult age of 18, I joined the Marine Corps, and I embraced the concept of team, but team was more so of fulfilling a higher mission. You know, so when I got into real estate investing, I started in a single family space, which, you know, as we know, in the single family spaces, you get to own a small grapes at a time, and it's usually you by yourself. Now, when you transition to the multifamily space, you get to surround yourself with a lot of people that have this abundance mindset, and everyone wants to share what they have learned, right? They also want to share their resources with you. So it became very apparent to me when I transitioned from a single family space, like, look, I need to embrace that team concept that I've been a part of my entire life. So my wife and I, we sat down, we strategized what we believe was our big audacious goal of attaining 100 units or syndicating 100 units in a time span of 12 months. And, as we all know, whenever you establish a goal, one of the things that you need to understand is, what will it take for you to accomplish that goals? What are the skills that you need to learn? What are the skills you need to have or need to learn? And also, what are the resources you need to accomplish that dream, right? So we realized that we were on an island and we needed to get off that island. And what I mean by that is we didn't know what we didn't know. So we need to populate our island or get off the island and mingle with other folks to ensure that we can get the knowledge and the skills that we need to accomplish this big, what we believe was a big audacious goal of syndicating 100 units in 12 months, right? So I was doing some research. One of the things I needed to know was how to properly analyze a property, because look, now we're dealing with investors' capital and we have to be the best stewards of those capital. So we can't just get up and wing it. There's a foundation information or foundation education that has to be learned. And we all know within single family space or the multifamily space that we make our money on the buy. So I came across this Michael Blanc program. It's called, and it talks about the syndicated deal analyzer, which we use, and we make some modification to analyze properties. Then I realized that he identified that he was having an event out in Texas. So my wife encouraged me. She's like, Shelon, she was committed to something else. And she said, I should attend that conference. So I was talking to a couple of my friends, my good friend, Tim Kelly, to be more specific. And one of the questions he asked me, he said, Hutch, why are you going to this conference? I said, well, I want to get on this island. I want to learn more about multifamily property so I can be a better steward of investors' capital. So he said, Hutch, understood. But specifically, why are you going there? I say, brother, tell me more. Tell me what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. So you said you're going there to raise capital, to find a deal, or to find a partner. And being that I wanted to get off the island, finding a partner was one of the things that I needed to accomplish. And at that conference, it's the Dealmaker Live out in Dallas, 2019, Dealmaker Live 2019. I found my good friend and business partner, Dr. Heath Jones, an amazing spiritual being. He's the type of guy that have such a presence that you want to wake up out of your bed in the morning and show up for him. So I'm showing up for him and for myself, to grow this dream that we envision for our future. So Heath and I, we met at a real estate conference. We started as accountability partners, and before we actually partner to build our business.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. As an industry-leading, relationship-focused, design-build construction firm, Mosaic Construction has worked in many different asset classes from multifamily to retail, medical, industrial, and commercial. Mosaic Construction works to execute interior and exterior renovations with their team of trades and project managers. Their experience with value-add improvements has resulted in increased ROI and long-term value of the assets. They work nationally in partnership with local trades to deliver thoughtful, problem-solving construction management solutions to all their clients. For a personal, no-obligation consultation, call Ira Singer, 773-491-3145. or email Ira at mosaicconstruction.net. You can also find Ira on LinkedIn.
Well, an interesting way to get started in partnership is through an accountability partnership. Sounds like an excellent way to build a rapport and a way to get to know your partner, really inside and out there.
Yeah, no doubt. So one of the things we identify at the conference is that, or even after the conference, is that we both liked the Huntsville, Alabama markets, right? And Heath lived 2 hours northeast of me, which was on not really the most direct path to get to Huntsville from Pensacola, but he lives in Enterprise, Alabama. So we drive 2 hours to his house, and then we'll drive 4 hours to the market. And between October and February, we were in Huntsville, Alabama, at least once a month, sometime twice. And I think there was 1 month we traveled 3 times up there. So we drive 2 hours to his house, and then we'll drive 4 hours to the market. And while we driving 4 hours to And 4 hours back, we've been listening to Jim Rohn. We've been listening to some Les Brown. We listen to some Grant Cardone, the 10X books. And also, just listen to other podcasts and listen to other great minds in the industry to learn what we did not know. And in the meantime, we would stop. We would pause and we would talk about what we have just learned. How does that resonate with you? What does that mean to you? Right. So we get to learn each other's character or beliefs and, some different things about each other that we would not normally learn just over a Zoom call. So we get to learn each other. And that was amazing. And that was about 5 months we took to learn each other before we actually formed H Square Capital.
Well, a good way to go about that. So you have decided to host a podcast, the MultiFamily Real Estate Experiment Podcast. What was behind the decision to go ahead and launch that podcast?
Yeah, so in this space, it's really, really important to stay connected. It is such a small community, even though when you're in the multifamily space, it seems as if everyone is doing it. It's like buying a new Tesla, right? You buy a new Tesla and you see all the Teslas on the road. You buy a new Ford F-150 battery operated, and now you see all the battery operated Ford F-150 on the road, right? I'm not sure if those are released there, but I'm just saying, right? When you start to integrate yourself in this community, you identify the who's of who's. You realize who has the strengths that you can learn from. See, Warren Buffett says, success leave clues. And what better way to get 64 hours of mentoring from those guys and gals who are doing great things? We don't have all the time in the world to absorb this content, but what we can do is sit down and get some mentoring session from those guys and gals who are doing things, because we don't know what we don't know. And the goal is to be the best stewards of our investors' capital. So it's more of a thought leadership platform. We use it as our education, but we're using it to also bring a ton of knowledge for people who might be one step below us or at our level, to ensure that we all can grow as a community and we can share the information, we can network in as much as possible, and of course, be the best steward of our investors' capital. We found it to be very beneficial. We've interviewed the likes of the minds of the mad scientists. This guy is Neil Bauer, all about the numbers. He's got an entire army of virtual assistants that dissect and parse out information that can be presented to the world to help us to get a better understanding of exactly what is going on in the multifamily space, so we can make better decision in the buying process and also the exit strategy, to ensure that whenever we talk to those busy professionals like your audience that are listening to this podcast, we are able to provide to them real-time information based on verifiable data out there on the internet.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Would you ever invest all your money in a single stock? Very unlikely. Yet investors are willing to risk $50,000 to $100,000 in a single property in real estate all the time. Avestor is the world's first customizable real estate investment platform. Investors can build their own custom portfolio, selecting investments across multiple asset classes such as single-family homes, multifamily, student housing, self-storage, and shopping centers. You can also invest across multiple markets and different time frames. Avestor also enables other real estate entrepreneurs and syndicators to build and use Avestor's infrastructure and cloud platform to create their own customizable real estate funds. To learn more, visit us at avestorinc.com. Avestor, real estate investing made simple.
Exactly. And every interview that I conduct, I learn something. And and I've had all caliber of people on this show, and I learn from each and every one of them something new every time I have somebody on as a guest. So I can't agree with you more there.
Right.
Well, what is your vision for your business, and what are you trying to accomplish?
In the real estate space, we all know every investment we do, the jobs that we have, the career field that we committed to, the education that we're committed to, we all have and for those who are real successful, right, we all have a big audacious goal. We have a vision. We have a why. The why that wake us up out of bed 4 a.m. or sometime even earlier. We see people like Marky Mark, as we call him. He wakes up at 3 a.m. Then he has several different things that he do throughout the day to ensure that he can spend times with his kids, with his children. He can drop them off at school, he can pick them up. So we all structure these life experience, these life decisions around a why that is bigger than just ourselves. See, a lot of times it's not all about the money. The money is good and it helps to facilitate all those things that we want to do. Because look, the bare necessity in this environment sometimes does not cut it. And I believe I come from a background where as a man, I was taught by my uncle, Len, who provided so much value for me as a young man that look, in my culture, as a man, it is your duty, your obligation, and your responsibility to provide for your family. So when I got into the real estate, that was my goal. But the more we learn, the more we realize the power and the value that we can bring to other investors. And we just want to share the knowledge. We want to share the knowledge. We want to share the investment opportunities with these investors. So at Edge Career Capital, we're committed to bringing veterans together. It could be retired or those veterans who have served their 4 or 5 years and got out of the military, regardless of the branch of service. We want to bring them together with high net worth individuals like your audience to create wealth and get their time back. So for the focus on the veterans is to help them to get their time back. Because look, I've been in the Marine Corps for over 22 years. And a lot of folks who are in my shoes, people who look like me, who have served in the military or whatever branch of service, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, Army, and Marine Corps, right? They're committed to learning a certain craft over 20 years. And the idea is to transition those trades, skills and trades out into corporate America and capitalize on that. But what Edge Career Capital wants to do is to minimize the amount of time that they spend in corporate America so they can get their time back, so they can spend time with their kids, high school age, or their grandchildren if they chose to have kids early. So that's what we want to do. Additionally, we want to provide those high net worth individuals we want to solve the problems that they have. And as you know, for those guys and gals who are listening to this, sometimes you are on a path of creating a additional stream of income. You might be close to retirement or you might have already retired and you want to create a cash flow. You might be a high net worth individual that just want to get those tax breaks to ensure that you don't have to give most of your capital back to Uncle Sam. So we want to provide the benefits of real estate to both those retired veterans and also those high net worth individual to get their time back and also enjoy the benefits that comes with owning multifamily real estate.
Well, share with our viewers and listeners how it is that they can connect with you to take advantage of all of this.
Yeah, so we try to be on social media as much as possible, but the Marine Corps is very demanding. It is very demanding. So I have to create time for myself. So we wake up at 4 a.m. So I'm on LinkedIn a lot as Hutch, the Marine Investor. I also have a de-operation manual, and it's geared more towards those service members, but it's applicable to anyone who's wanted to get into real estate. So if you go to hcareercapital.com, you can download your operation manual to get the insight of what it actually means to invest in a multifamily and some of the opportunities that it provides for you. It's a Hutch Marine Investor. And also, we host a meetup every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. It's the Southeast Multifamily Investor Meetup, and you can connect with us that way.
Well, let's go into our last segment here. And Hutch, share with us one of your most difficult setbacks, and how did you come through that time, and what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Doc, I call you Doc or Alan? I call you Doc.
Doc is great,
Doc.
yes.
So in the Marine Corps, Doc is like a good word for us. We have a Navy Corpsman that we absolutely love and appreciate because they're the one who's saving our behinds a lot of times, right? So I call Doc. One of the best moments in my life was what I perceived at the time to be my worst moment. See, I have a different style of leadership. I'm very passionate about helping people. But in order to help people, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that you have to learn how to lead yourself first, right? So in 2015, I was running this division of close to 80 people. We had some good apples and we had some bad apples. And look, they said that 90% of the time is spent with 10% of those people who are a leadership challenge. So I was committed to ensuring that those Marines that I was entrusted to lead were brought up to what I believe to be the standard. But look, I did not know how to go about it most effectively, and it backfired. And I got relieved or I got reassigned from that position. It was not pitched to me as, Hutch, you're getting relieved. It was, Hutch, you getting reassigned to a place that we believe you'll be better suited. So I got reassigned to one of the leadership academy here in the West Coast. What that did for me, that put me in a position with 6 solid NCOs, non-commissioned officers, who did not need a lot of my attention. They needed some guidance with ensuring that policies and procedures were followed. But they were so savvy that they didn't need my direct supervision 100% of the time. So what that provided me with, Doc, was an opportunity to learn who I was, right? And who I could become. And I see, when you master who you are, it builds your curiosity of who you can become. And being reassigned to that position created the time for me to learn who I am and what could become. So I went out on this lifelong commitment to learning. The first book I read was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And this is one of my most recommended books because, look, it is life transforming. It made me a better Marine, a better husband, a better father, a better brother, all around a better individual. And I recommend the book so much. So what I perceive to be my lowest moment, because I believe that I cared so much about these Marines, and then I was getting reassigned. That was not a good feeling for me. But looking back, it was the best decision in my Marine Corps career, and as me as a spiritual being.
Enlightened investors, we'll be right back after this important announcement. I have a big ask that will only take a moment of your time. Ratings and reviews are the lifeblood of our podcast. So to leave a review, iPhone or other Apple iOS device users, go to Apple Podcasts or iTunes. For all you non-Apple device users, go to podchasers.com. On either platform, search for Real Estate Investing Abundance. Once found, please leave a review and a rating. Subscriptions are also vital to our show's success, so please be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. It is free to subscribe, and you can unsubscribe at any time.
That is so true. And as simple as it may sound, it is really a difficult lesson to learn, but we cannot help anyone else until we first help ourselves. Even the airlines know that. That's always they start off with, put your mask on before you take care of the child next to you, because if you're gasping for breath, there's no way you're going to be able to help your child. So true. So true. And it really is a hard lesson to learn, though.
It is. So a lot of folks, they can moan and complain about what they believe is happening to them. And see, one of the transforming quotes in that book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, was a quote by Viktor Frankl. And if anyone know who Viktor Frankl is, they would know that it was in a concentration camp and was being tortured over and over again. I was in a leadership billet leading some hard-charging Marines. I was not getting tortured. And the quote is, between stimulus and response, there's space. And in that space, you have the freedom to choose your response. In your response lies your happiness and your growth, right? See, I've made it mine. But that was such a life transforming quote to me that it changed my life. And I've been living my life from that perspective ever since 2015. I tell you, it has been such an amazing life experience since then.
Well, for our last question, imagine that you've come to the end of your life, and as you lay on your deathbed, what do you look back on with your greatest sense of joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment?
Yes, Doc. So we all have this big audacious why, right? And a lot of time it surrounds those children that we've chosen to bring into this world, because look, everything else can go away and our commitment will always remain to those spiritual beings that we have chosen to bring into this realm. Les Brown talks about this. He talks about the perfect way to die. And the perfect way to die is to be surrounded by your kids, grandkids, and great-great-great-great-grandkid children, right? Just a whole happy family around you celebrating your life. But imagine, Doc, laying on your deathbed and you're surrounded by the thoughts and ideas, visions that came to you that only you can give life to. And they tell you that we came to you and you did not brought us to life, right? And that's when a lot of people have regrets. They have regrets about not taking enough actions. See, one of the things that I've learned recently, Doc, is that whenever we think small, it's the people whose life we could be changing or improving will suffer the most when we think small. So when I lay on my deathbed at the end of my life, I want to be surrounded with my family with no regrets, knowing that I have fulfilled my commitment, my obligation, and my duty to my family and to those that I come in contact to improving their life, whether it's financially, motivation, inspiration, a smile to brighten up a bad day, right? I want to look back in life with no regrets.
Wonderful way to live any life. Thank you so much, Hutch, for being on the show. Been a pleasure getting to know you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the opportunity, Doc.
Thank you for tuning in to Real Estate Investing Abundance, brought to you by Steve Talker Capital, a company working for passionate professionals like you to develop financial independence built on solid, passive real estate investments. As part of our efforts to make the world a better place, Steve Talker Capital contributes to activities and organizations committed to better understand the equine. These endeavors attempt to enhance the human treatment of horses worldwide. Steve Talker Capital, working for a world where all creatures, great and small, flourish abundantly. For resources to develop your financial independence, connect with us at stevetalker.com.